On Channel Africa as we take a look at the leading stories in and impacting the African continent. It's gone exactly 25 minutes after 4 p.m. We turn our focus now to the Manufacturing Indaba 2025 conference and exhibition. It is currently underway in Johannesburg, South Africa. It is an annual event dedicated to driving Africa's reindustrialization. And how do they do this? Well, by fostering local manufacturing, making sure that leaders get connected and stay connected, as well as empowering businesses to grow and to create jobs. Now, among the countries that are present at the Indaba this year is Zambia, which has recently signed a joint venture with one of India's largest pharmaceutical companies, Akums Drugs and Pharmaceuticals Limited, to set up a manufacturing plant as well as to start the production of about 150 drugs locally. Joining us this afternoon is the head of investments for mining and energy at the Industrial Development Corporation in Zambia, Mr. Mulumba Lwatula. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome to Africa in Business.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
So give us your reflections of the Manufacturing Indaba 2025 thus far. It is, as I said in my introduction, a platform for leaders, for manufacturers to come together, knowledge sharing, as well as seeing what the best practices are around the globe. What have been your reflections?
I think so far it's been quite educating and enlightening. There's a lot of discussions, obviously, on intra-African trade and how we can utilize and leverage regional connections and regional capacities to be able to bring about a manufacturing revolution on the continent. So far this morning's sessions were pretty good. I spoke on a panel effectively looking at building resilience into African manufacturing entities, as well as how we go about with succession planning, just so that we ensure that a lot of our companies are also sustainable and also set up for the long haul.
If you could give us a bit of overview of Zambia's manufacturing capacity, where the opportunities lie, and which sectors or which products rather that you manufacture.
Sure. So Zambia's manufacturing industry is still nascent, although it's been growing as well year on year. We have manufacturing as a priority sector in the country, obviously, given the fact that manufacturing creates jobs and local manufacturing then retains those jobs internally. So in terms of what we're looking at, there are quite a number of initiatives that government has put in place. There are incentives that investors have also been set up to attract investors. We have special economic zones that are also fostering a lot of that manufacturing. I know earlier you were referring to the signing of an agreement with an Indian firm, effectively looking at how the country can leverage its location, right? We are, as we like to call ourselves nowadays, land-linked. We've got 8 neighboring countries plus 1, given that we also have access to the Great Lakes region going up north.
Talking about the joint ventures that have been signed with India, they do stretch across mining and manufacturing sectors. Can you take us through some of these deals and how Zambia stands to benefit?
Sure thing. So we are, I think you might have heard that we have an aspiration to effectively be able to produce up to 3 million metric tons of copper over the ensuing years. Given that aspiration, the country is obviously looking to not only ensure that there's energy supply for that. So we're setting up a number of solar PV plants. And then in the manufacturing space, we're also partnering with the likes of the Indian firms. But also on the mining side of things, we're expanding our exploration. For instance, under Industrial Resources Limited, we have about 40 plus licenses that have been earmarked for co-development with international and local mining entities. We're looking to ensure that over the coming years, we double output when it comes to our copper production. And that can only begin really by putting things in place. And we've started along that journey. And we hope over the next 5 to 10 years, we should start seeing the results coming to fruition.
You will know about the 50% increase in copper imports from the United States. How does that impact your plans as Zambia?
So I think it's also dependent on the sort of partnerships that we're striking, right? We do have partnerships with companies coming from the West, and also partnerships with companies coming out of the East. So at the moment, Zambia is trying to leverage and ensure that we're active participants in this energy transition. And as you likely know, copper is a huge component when it comes to the energy transition, not only in the form of its input into EV vehicles, but also all the other downstream areas that copper is also utilized in. So as a country, we're positioning ourselves to be a top producer, but then not only to be a producer of raw materials, but also to begin to value add in country and at least set up industries that will then be able to do that on our behalf.
As we conclude this afternoon, there is the partnership agreement that was signed with Mercuria Energy Group. How does that benefit the copper mines and the copper miners in Zambia?
So the partnership with Mercuria is effectively to assist not only the country in terms of its trading capacity. For a very long time, Zambia has been a producer of copper. However, there hasn't been that active participation when it comes to trading of our metals, right? So the partnership with Mercuria is not only bringing capacity building, but technology transfer, as well as enabling us as a country to be able to participate in a larger part of the value chain, something that we haven't had in decades since the going away of Memaco, which was our metal marketing entity from back in the days. But we're reviving that capacity, given that as copper use obviously increases, given the energy transition, we need to ensure that we're also understanding the full value that we can also retain and obtain from our natural resource wealth.
Mr. Lwatula, we thank you very much for your insight and your time, and enjoy the rest of the Manufacturing Indaba.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. He is the head of investments for mining and energy at the Industrial Development Corporation in Zambia. He takes us to exactly 4:30 p.m. Central African time. Let's head over now to the markets desk, where Chanduko Legeke is standing by with the latest market indicators.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
In your financial indicators this afternoon, $1 is trading at 17 Rand 90. In South Africa, in Botswana, it is trading at 13 Pula 20. In Namibia, it is trading at 17 Namibian dollars 90. And Zambian kwacha is trading at 23 kwacha 16 to the US dollar. In Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 549. In Ethiopia, it is trading at 137 birr 30. In Uganda, it is trading at 3,000 shilling 562. In Tanzania, it is trading at 2,000 shilling 598. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 152.